Right, let's do this, eh? It's the weekly wrap-up show. I'm your host, Bryce. Um, as I see, I didn't get round to recording last week's wrap-up show. I'm going to give you a very brief rundown, run through the scores. It's not going to be crazy long, but this show is going to be longer. I am expecting maybe twice as long as what the previous one was. Um, First up, I am going to say Wednesday's game. It's not the Wednesday just gone. It's a, a couple weeks ago. Counties Manukau taking on Canterbury, winning 31-29 at home. I I did make a prop a total blowout with the facts. Everybody probably knows about it already. I haven't seen too many comments about it, which on my side is completely fine. The less I see, the better. But if you'd think I do need correcting, by all means, that's what the comments are there for. And just be constructive about it. Don't just turn and go, oh, that's wrong because that's wrong. Actually, tell me why it's wrong and why, in your view, it could be said better, or it was actually this score instead of this score. You got it off by one number or something like that. That would be awesome. I am only human. I might look like a robot, I might talk like one, but I do occasionally get things wrong. I try and double check everything. The mistake I made was I was I I said the Warriors weren't in the semi-finals due to their loss against the Penrith Panthers in the quarterfinals, which is typically how our logical competition goes. We are talking about rugby league, and rugby league's anything but logical. It's done on points, isn't it? So, even though they lost to the Penrith Panthers in the quarterfinals, they had enough points to carry them to the semi-finals or the preliminary finals, which were played this past week. That was my big cock up. Um, so I'm going to double and triple check things before I write them down next time. And if I don't know if you can hear it while I'm talking, but it is raining quite heavy at the moment here, so just gonna have to excuse that. In other news for the week finishing on the 9th, I I'm calling my weeks on the Tuesdays, um, because that's when I record the show, Tuesday to Tuesday. The Warriors won 40 points to 10 over the Knights in the rugby league. The Women's Rugby League Premiership, the New Zealand RL, has wrapped up. There's no further scores from that competition. There's no further games to play. The Palmer Cups all wrapped up. Has been for a couple of weeks. Bunnings NPC for round 7. Hawke's Bay smashed Manawatu 57-7. Much needed win for the Hawke's Bay side. Well, official scores are saying 57-7. I've double checked multiple websites about it because I swear at the game it was more like 77-7, or there was at least 70 points the difference. So something was not allowed upon review after the game or something, is what I'm guessing. Waikato won 27-12 against Auckland, and we headed off to the Battle of the North with a stunner by North Harbour going 51-31 over Northland. Typically, it would be the other way around, but Northland obviously had a bit of a off day. Taranaki won 36-17 over Otago at the Forsyth Bar Stadium. Wellington roared past Bay of Plenty 26-14. Canterbury defeated Southland 29-14. Tasman jumped 10 points higher than Tasman. Hang on. 1 second, please. That is incredibly wrong. Tasman did in fact jump 10 points higher than Counties Manukau for the 27-17 win. See? Always double checking myself. And as always, Wednesday's game will be included in the following wrap-up show, which is this wrap-up show. You just have to wait for me to get through the rest of these points, and I will move on to the current week of play. In the international rugby competition, Rugby World Cup, currently going on, New Zealand thumped Namibia 71-3. France picked away at Uruguay for 27-12. Samoa dropped Chile out of the park 43-10. Wales added 20 points over and above Portugal for 28-8. Ireland went 59-16 over Tonga. South Africa decimated Romania 76-0. Australia got trampled over by Fiji 22-15. And England smacked Japan down 34-12. I will also apologise for missing a bunch of games that should have been live scoreboards. Freaking real life got in the way. The job got in the way. Yeah, I've really got nothing else to say on that front. So, and that goes for missing last week's episode and the scoreboard, the live scoreboards. I've got stuck in the way, needed dealing with my IRL job. Showed up and went, hey, we've got a few nights of work for you, and you want to work for about 4.5 to 5 hours a night? I went, you betcha, because money. I'm not all about the money, but it does help. And yeah, this coming weekend, I should be free, providing the jobs don't stack up again. And I will be back unless plans change at the last moment. And that is always a possibility with my day job. There was no Wednesday game this week. Last week, sorry. The Rugby League, Warriors took the L in the preliminary against the Broncos. Broncos winning that 42 points to 12, and that marks the end of the season for the Warriors. They will not be in the final. I will, however, update you with the final game score next week. Panthers did a number on the Melbourne Storm, 38 points to 4. And That means the final will be played between the Penrith Panthers and the Brisbane Broncos. And what a mouthful that was. Just going right on down to the Bunnings NPC, National Provincial Championship, Premiership, all that good stuff. For round 8, Northland went 26-32 under Bay of Plenty. Counties Manukau 46-19 over Manawatu. Basically handed their asses to them on silver platters, as I like to say, with a scoreline like that. Southland gave Hawke's Bay another morale lifting win, 33.7 for Hawke's Bay. Canterbury tickled Tasman's here as they flew past, 30 points to 28. Taranaki won 18 points 16 against Auckland. Very entertaining game. If you have the resources and wherewithal to watch, I suggest you do. I was actually being a little cheeky and listening to it on the radio. It was very entertaining. Wellington kept the Ranfurly Shield 26-6 North Harbour, which means Hawke's Bay is going to play for the Ranfurly Shield this coming weekend against Wellington. Waikato flattened Otago 47 points to 7. And as always, Wednesday's game will be included in the next wrap-up show. International rugby, it is the Rugby World Cup. It was a bye week for New Zealand, meaning New Zealand didn't play a game. Gave us an extra little bit to practice. But the scorelines are something to behold. Italy went 38-17 over Uruguay. France was 96-0 over Namibia, sorry. Argentina was 19 points to 10 over Samoa, fairly low scoring. Georgia and Portugal 18 points apiece. England 71-0 to England, and Chile 71-0 to England. Send Chile home. A score like that, along with Namibia, scores like that don't belong in the Rugby World Cup as far as I'm concerned. Controversial opinion here. South Africa lost 8 points to 12 to Ireland. Scotland won 45-17 over Tonga. Wales went 40 points to 6 over Australia, basically decimating Australia's hopes at a quarter-final spot. Now, we come to the netball because the Tani Jamison Trophy, RIP Tani Jamison, is underway. I say RIP because I believe she has recently died. At least that's what I heard when I was listening to the game on the radio. So, yeah, and the Silver Ferns were wearing black armband. I'd say partially for her and partially for one of the other influencers. But yeah, New Zealand only lost to England by 1 point, 55-54. Hey, England, a win's a win, 1 point. Celebrate. New Zealand. I think you might need to reevaluate your gameplay a bit. That's all I'll say. I'm not a massive netball extraordinaire or anything. Okay. We come to the channel updates. I'm going to include the cricket in this segment because there's only one team in the cricket I'm following. That's New Zealand. The Black Caps, or Black Craps as they're sometimes called, because they don't always play up to people's expectations. New Zealand did take the win from the Bangladesh by 86 runs in the last game they played. The next game is just underway. Bangladesh won the toss and elected to bat first, and are currently on 8 for the loss of 2 after 2 overs and 1 ball. I will not be doing cricket scoreboards because I can't think of anything more boring to do. In the Rugby World Cup, New Zealand will play Italy on the 30th, which is this coming Saturday at 8 a.m. Hawke's Bay also play Wellington on the 30th at 2:05 p.m. And I believe there's a Tani Jamison trophy game on that day as well at 7 p.m. or something like that. So I will attempt to be around for those games. I will. If shit changes and I have work or I've got to be somewhere else, then I will update you on the community tab. I will also attempt to be live with a scoreboard for the Tani Jamison Trophy game tomorrow, Wednesday. It's a 7 p.m. game in New Zealand. As I said before, if plans fall through, I will drop a small post on the community tab. So keep an eye on that. That's going to be very critical in the coming days or the coming weeks as we ramp up into summer, because it is technically getting busy at my day job, and I could have more stuff pop up at last minute, and I will have to let you know. As always, the link for the monetary donations is in the description. I want to thank everyone for their support. The next game will be New Zealand, Italy. No, sorry, it will be the Tani Jamison Trophy tomorrow, Wednesday, the 27th, 7 p.m. And from there, it'll be Rugby World Cup, New Zealand, Italy on the 30th. Yeah. And not forgetting Hawke's Bay, Wellington for the Ranfurly Shield. So I'm gonna have to sort stuff out. I'll do this. I'll have a look at the times, the dates, etc., and I'll make an ordered list of what's happening this weekend. I will post that to the community page just after I upload this. That's that for the last 2 weeks. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been twice as long as I expected one episode to be, but this podcast can go for 20, maybe 30 minutes tops. If you have knowledge of the games, you want to appear on here and give your opinion, please reach out and contact me. The email for contact is in the business inquiries email in the about page. I will double check that too. But for now, this has been the weekly wrap up show. I have been your host, Bryce. I am signing off. Bye.